Hello. We are, I think, in our little final mini series of Tyler Tells All. He just spent his wonderful spring break in the most magical place on earth. Totally jealous, but here we are, and we're going to talk about Tyler being able to conquer his fears and earn his place on the show now that he's ridden everything.
Yes.
Because he's a little bit of a chicken.
As have Gunnar and Brooklyn and... Try to think. No, sorry. Sorry, girls. I forgot y'all have not been on Astro Orbiter yet. So that was one that me and Gunnar did several years ago, which was terrifying in his own right.
Well,
that is not at all like a Dumbo clone.
Is it up in the air?
It is.
I don't think we rode that one.
You know where People Mover is?
Yes, I know where it is.
It sits above that, and not only is it that much higher...
It's like right there by Buzz Lightyear ride, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It's more like a tube, like the Matterhorn.
Oh, okay.
Kind of deal.
Like a bobsled type deal.
And it's slanted a little bit more.
Uh-huh.
So, like, you're like this the whole way.
Oh.
And you just got like a little seat belt, and you're kind of like just holding on to your kid in front of you. I was a little bit... I wasn't prepared
sketchy
for that when I did it, which is why I've only done it the one time. Plus, it's a long line. There's no Genie Plus for it. You have to take an elevator to get there. It's weird.
Well, I'm jotting that in my notes. We're going to try that one out for sure because none of us knew it was even a ride. I just thought it was a cool little thingy that you looked at, but good to know.
I do have a history of being, how shall we say this delicately, an outright chicken. That's not delicate at all. But I'm a scaredy cat. When we went to Silver Dollar City last year, I didn't ride Powder Keg, Time Traveler, Wildfire. I hopped on.
What's he even doing on this show? Like, he has no right. He has no right.
Because it's Disney, there's not that many scary things before.
No, there's not. Mm-mm.
So over past years, we went in 2017, I did Everest. Gunnar got me to ride that one. When we went on our anniversary trip in early 2018, Candace got me to ride Rock and Roller Coaster. So I've been slowly kind of knocking these out. And I enjoyed both of them.
Even Expedition Everest was your favorite ride.
Was my favorite ride. It is not anymore. Rise of the Resistance. So let's briefly talk about that ride.
Okay.
If you don't want any spoilers, don't watch any ride videos for it. I'm not going to say anything.
Okay, because I haven't ridden it yet.
I'm not going to say anything about the ride itself. It's just... You know about some of the stuff because you can't help but know about, like, the stormtroopers,
right,
that are in their 60-plus animatronics, occasionally a real person walking around. The incredible thing, without going into spoilers, the entire ride, I kept hearing Brooklyn tell Candace, "Mom, look at Dad. He's so happy now." Because apparently I just had this, like, huge grin on my face. I was just like,
oh, my gosh, that's so cool.
It was so awesome.
So you, as a parent, you look forward to taking your children to Disney and just looking at their reactions. But I guess Brooklyn enjoys taking her dad to Disney.
Yeah, and that was one of her favorites too.
That's
and
really
I'll get
cool.
into her other one in just a second. But it is even if you do not like Star Wars, it is a very enjoyable ride. Very, very much so.
Awesome. I'm looking forward to it, really.
But there have always been some issues with my fear. Specifically on roller coasters. I've gotten better. Like Rock and Roller Coaster does make you go upside down. Mm-hmm. But it's inside and it's short. You're like 40 feet maybe.
Yeah.
Everest only has an 80-foot drop in it. And it's a drop that's kind of angled, so it's not straight down. Mm-hmm. And so I've never done a vertical loop. Mm-hmm. I've never done anything over 80 feet before.
Yeah.
And I don't like drop rides.
Yeah.
And so I had never done Tower of Terror before. And at your recommendation, you basically, I don't know if it was a recommendation, you basically just said you can't be on the show if you don't do Tower of Terror. Like,
you're just going to have to scoot over.
We're going to just kick you off of the show if you don't do Tower of Terror.
Yes.
And so, go back and watch our Genie Plus deal. We did get a lightning lane for Tower of Terror at the very end of the day, which
that gave you lots of time to prep and breathe and think about it and dread it.
Horrible. Like, I almost recommend, if you got something you're scared of, do it immediately so you can enjoy the rest of the day. And Brooklyn was very much afraid of this ride, too.
Yeah.
Like, she did not want to.
She's never rode it.
And she'd never rode any kind of a drop ride before. And so we were telling her things like, you did Velocicoaster, and that has a bigger drop than Tower of Terror does.
No joke.
And so You get on Tower of Terror, and it is honestly one of the most impressive rides from any storytelling, technological standpoint. The fact that this ride is so old and it holds up so well. You get in the elevator, and it's awesome because every cast member who works there is like so deadpan.
Oh yeah,
I mean, they have auditions. People wait.
they love their job
decades
working Tower of
to
Terror
get
for
on Tower
sure.
of Terror,
Mhm.
and so it's just
Did you enjoy it?
I'll get there. So Brooklyn was scared of this one too, but you get in the elevator and you got all these scary things going on, and it's set to Twilight Zone, like the original Twilight Zone, not the Jordan Peele one. And you go through, and they have a neat storyline, and just knowing how they got Rod Serling in there, even though he had been dead for decades before they filmed it, and the mixture of his videos and recreating things and using other voice actors, it's just amazing. And just the history of the ride, because it used to be a predictable, you go up, you go down, you go up, you
Right.
go down, and it is not a traditional drop ride.
No, it's not. I tried to tell you that.
Yeah, it could, because aside from it having a dark ride element to it, you don't actually drop, you get pulled down. They have cables above and below, so you're falling faster than gravity. So if you're thinking it's a ride where you go up and it just lets you free fall, it's more intense than that, which only makes me more scared of it. So
It makes it more fun.
We convinced Brooklyn, and she's scared, so she's sitting right by me and everything. And the way the ride now works is there is a completely random number of drops per ride. And it's somewhere between, you might have as few as 3 drops.
3 to
you could
6.
have 7-ish, somewhere, 6 or 7, right around there. But every one is going to include the big 130-foot drop in it. And so we get on there, and it's neat because at one point they open the outside doors and you can see across Hollywood Studios. And it's not like Splash Mountain where you come up and you get the cool view of the castle and you can look at it for a couple of seconds, like the doors open, then you're down.
Yep.
And so it's very quick. And they take your picture on this ride. And so we've got Candace and Brooklyn right there. And by the way, when you get on a ride, please, please, please look behind you. See if there are small children behind you, and leave your hands down.
Be a little courteous,
There were multiple rides that we went on where someone behind or in front of the kids had their arms up and completely, in one case, obscured Gunner.
Oh.
And he's almost 5 feet tall. He's not like a tiny kid.
Yeah.
And so just keep that in mind. And if you're nervous, what we didn't think about later, and only Candace thought about it, was we should be the ones riding in front of them because we can make sure our hands stay down.
Oh, yeah, that's a good idea.
So think about that as well. But you got them having fun. Candace has been on it once before. Brooklyn has never been on it. Gunner's been on Mission Breakout at Disneyland.
Oh, yeah, that's the exact same ride, essentially, but it's
got the Guardians of the Galaxy videos going through it.
I think that's the most terrified I've seen in any of your photos.
I was honestly, and I don't know at what point because some people were like, are you faking somebody? Because I posted these pictures. People are you faking your fear just to get a good picture out of it? I'm like, no, there are times where I go crazy for a picture, but on these specific rides, no, I was not faking it.
That's funny you say that because my first time we purchased Memory Maker, we got all these photos as well, and I think all my pictures are like this. And somebody actually commented, they said, are you having a good time at all? And I was like, it's so sad. I'm having the time of my life, but I don't know where the cameras are, and I'm just enjoying it, I guess, taking it in, but I have no reaction.
I was honestly that scared, and I don't know where they take the picture, because some rides where the camera is, but I don't know at what point on which drop they take it.
I don't either.
And it may be random along with everything, I don't know. But here's what got me. You know how at the end of the ride, you're back down at the bottom, and they play the exit video with the clock and the floating eye and all that stuff again? We did the big drop, and we get down there, and the video starts playing.
Okay.
And so I let go
you thought that was
of the deal because I thought, okay, we've dropped at least 4 times right now.
Yep.
And now they're playing the video. So the ride's over. And we go back up and down again. And I was just not expecting that. I was like, why did you play the ride video?
It's a trick.
Because I watched ride-throughs of it, and I've never seen them start the ride video.
That's the thing
before
about
they were
Tower
done.
of Terror. Every time you ride, it's a different ride.
So that was aside from all of the new rides like Ratatouille, Rise of the Resistance, Runaway Railway, and Smuggler's Run, that was my only thing I had never done before. So I finally checked it off. I have been on every Disney World ride, but that was actually day 4 of our trip.
Okay.
I had other fears. We went on our honeymoon over 15 years ago, mostly to Universal Studios and Islands of Adventure. And I'd been in a wreck like a month before our wedding.
Oh, wow.
And I had like chipped teeth, and I'd broken an arm, and had a surgery less than 3 weeks before we were at Universal.
Oh.
And the doctor told me, don't ride any high-intensity rides because your arm is still healing. You might re-break it.
You're like, you got it.
And yeah, I'm a
Rats.
chicken. So, unbeknownst to me, though, Candace is, she's wearing all the gear to show that she's newly married and everything like this. And everyone's like, well, where's your husband? Instead of saying, oh, well, he was in a wreck, he just had surgery, she goes, oh, he's scared.
He's scared.
Like, honey, you didn't have to tell these people. She goes, it was true, you wouldn't have been on it anyways.
For real.
And one of those rides, because a lot of the stuff at studios is different, but one of those rides that is still there, that was there when we were there, is the Incredible Hulk. Like I said, I've never done a vertical loop. I've never gone over 100 feet, and this does both of those.
I'm scared to death to ride that, but I will ride it.
And this is before Tower of Terror, too.
Oh, okay.
So, and to give you an idea, just watch a ride-through video of Incredible Hulk. You start off in a tube, and it launches you straight into a barrel roll and then down about 140 feet. Then you go into a cobra roll, and then you have a vertical loop, a corkscrew, another vertical loop, and then another corkscrew. So you go upside down 7 times in this ride. It is faster than any of the Disney World rides, up to 67 miles an hour. And so...
Does it at least feel like it's quick?
I told the kids that I would really, really, really try to do this.
Okay.
And so we get in line on the next to last day of our Universal trip. We're there 3 days. So this is day 2. No one rode it except for Gunner on day 1.
Oh.
And I told him, I said, I'm not going to ride this with you because I want to ride it for the first time with the family if I do it. So we go through the line, and it's pretty long even with Express Pass. And so it's giving me time to get nervous. And Candace is like giving me all these outs. Babe, it's supposed to be fun. You can just have fun. You don't have to be scared of it. If you don't want to ride it, you don't have to ride it. No one's going to force you to do it. And so we get on there, and all 3 of them get on the ride, and I just stand there like, I'm going to back out.
Yeah.
And she looks at me, and she goes, think of the epic photo. Fine. And so this one, Brooklyn really talked me into it. So at some point, each of the 3 people in my family have talked me into a ride that I was scared of. And so this was me on the ride. Or rather, this is the 3 of them on the ride.
Did Candace know where the camera was, or did she just coincidentally find it?
I'm the one that researches the things and knows where cameras are most of the rides are at. But she did not know.
Right at it.
Gunner looks a little intense. Brooklyn looks like she's just chill.
Yes, like she's chilling in a recliner. And now, I love Candace's representation of our real favorite park. By the way.
And that she has her free Dobby shirt on underneath it.
Oh,
but it was like those first few days we had good weather. We were a little bit chilly at times.
Yeah,
it was crazy. You can see Brooklyn's got her little hoodie on underneath, the little blue there. But this ride, where it takes the photo, is actually after the last inversion.
Oh,
so all the scary stuff
is gone.
All the scary stuff is over.
Mm-hmm.
When I got off this ride, my heart rate was 131 beats per minute. And so I don't think it really mattered where the camera was. You were going to get this no matter what.
I still think you look more scared on Tower of Terror, honestly.
I felt equally as terrified on both of them.
Oh, man.
Now, I will say, when I do something like this, I try to ride it a second time.
Okay.
I didn't get to on Tower of Terror. Timing did not happen with that. So I feel like the second time we rode this, I did a little bit better.
Okay, yeah. That's a lot different.
And that one I didn't know where the camera was, so I was like, I got to get at least one photo where I don't look like I'm about to, wet myself.
Have a good time.
And now we've all got jackets on this one.
Yep.
So, except for, Gunner's got his on, it's just mostly falling off his shoulders. So I was able to overcome some fears.
Yay!
And, just to prove this,
Oh,
That was like a
God.
minute afterwards. 131 beats per minute.
Oh,
So
no.
I was truly, truly, truly terrified at that one.
And would you say I'm somebody very prone to motion sickness? Do you think hook it up with some Dramamine for Universal?
Always, always. I think we took Dramamine every single day that we went to any park. There are enough motion simulator rides and rides that will flip you upside down. It's just get the non-drowsy all-day Dramamine so it doesn't like make you just lethargic.
And I've never had to take it at Disney, but I will not ride Mission Space just because of that aspect. I don't want to be sick.
We rode it, but we did the orange version,
Mm-hmm.
and so it wasn't that bad.
But I think I'm going to need it for sure at Universal.
Yeah, there are a lot of ones. Gunner actually got sick one day, of all people. He got sick after Despicable Me.
I've heard that. I've actually heard that one's pretty good about triggering that.
I hadn't heard that one before. So
or
that
the
was
Simpsons or
Simpsons wasn't bad. You know, Simpsons is the old Back to the Future ride.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing about it is it's kind of rough more than anything else.
I've heard that too.
And so that is my little deal on conquering fears.
I'm so proud of you.
Thank you.
And you've earned your right to continue.
I can now be
series.
on the show.
Yes.
Yay. All right. Well, hope you do check out all of
Tell us your new favorite rides. We're waiting.
Oh, you want to hear the okay. I was just going to leave that hanging for another
And you
week.
never concluded with, did you enjoy the Hulk and Tower of Terror?
I enjoyed the Hulk more than I enjoyed Tower of Terror.
Okay. Fair.
I would do Tower of Terror again, but it was just a lot of it is the not knowing. How many times am I done yet? And it is just a lot more sudden, a lot steeper, and all this stuff than you just kind of ever realize it. So our new favorite rides.
But hold on, I want to add to that because my husband is terrified of drop rides too. And I think you can't even compare it to if you rode Superman at Six Flags. Oh my God, that ride is just terrifying. Superman, I think. It's like just so scary. It's so scary. But Tower of Terror, it feels more safe to me. It feels a lot more safe because it's kind of enclosed. You know what I mean? And
you have seat belts on.
Yeah.
And what's interesting, I just read this the other day. They always tell everyone to raise their hands before they shut the elevator doors. And one day they were like all spread out. And the dad asked him, why do you have everyone raise their hands? And right after he told them to raise their hands, you hear a zip. And one of the kids had fake buckled his seatbelt. And so when he raised his hands, the seatbelt just whoosh, went back. And he goes, because of that.
Oh, wow.
So they have little, even though you may be sitting there going, well, they didn't come through and check. That's how they check on some of these. And, you know, to make sure they're safe. Like you said, you're enclosed. It's a straight up and down. It doesn't have like the curve at the end of it that some rides like that will have. You don't go upside down.
Well, and then the fact that you brought that up, that it actually pulls you down on a cable, the gravity is a lot more intense, so you tend to come up out of your seat when you're going down. So that does make a lot of sense that they want to check
and
that.
And there are little handles. Candace didn't know it the first time she rode it. There are little handles right next to it that you can hang on to, but still terrifying.
But definitely do it. Do that ride. It's a great ride. Seriously, it really is. It's a fun, awesome storytelling ride. It's amazing.
Many people will put that ride as their number one at all of Disney World.
I wouldn't put it number one, but it's definitely top 5.
And it is always a long wait too. So,
yes. Check it out. Don't knock it.
For our favorite ride, but I think he'd be fine on Tower of Terror.
Yeah.
For our favorite rides, I'll go back through the order of our trip a little bit. At Universal, period. Universal Studios or Islands of Adventure. Studios is just, we didn't spend a whole lot of time at Studios. But I would say easily, all 4 of us was Hagrid's Magical Creatures Motorbike Adventures. This ride has it all. Do you know what happens on this ride?
So I know that there's some pretty cool animatronics. I've never been to Universal, so I don't really know.
Okay, well, I won't do any spoilers.
Yeah, don't do
Let's just say this is an outdoor roller coaster with a mile-long track, that is high speed. It does not get very high, but it is high speed.
And you're kind of in like a motorcycle and a little cart.
It's kind of hard to tell in these pictures because they do that little vignetting to put the background in. But on this one, you can tell Candace is on the motorbike part, and Gunnar is kind of riding in the sidecar.
Okay.
It's more thrilling if you are in the sidecar area.
Really?
Because you're kind of like leaning forward a little bit.
Okay.
So it's different. And the other one, you feel more rigid and enclosed to it.
Okay.
And so
That's interesting.
It was really fun. Rope drop it.
Okay.
Don't rope drop Velocicoaster because that's not as family friendly.
And there's more people in line for Hagrid's just because of the children factor.
Right.
Okay.
We probably had the same amount of length, weight doing Hagrid's right off the bat as the kids then had doing Velocicoaster afterwards.
Okay.
And the Gunnar put Velocicoaster as his 4th favorite ride at Universal. Like, it was low. He really liked Rip Ride Rocket and Hagrid's and one of the simulator ones. I can't remember which one off the top of my head. So that was our
if
favorite.
there's 2 parks for Universal, Islands of Adventure and what was the other one you said? Studios. When you have a 1-day ticket, we're spending 1 day there. Do you get to go to both? Do you get access to both?
You would need a 2-day, or not 2-day. You would need a 2-park ticket.
Oh.
Like a park hopper option.
Okay.
It is 2 separate parks. If you go to, you have to have the park-to-park ticket if you want to visit both of them.
And that's not included automatically in your deluxe resort?
No, you just have to make sure when you go through universalorlando.com to book it that you make sure the tickets say 2-park 1-day tickets.
Okay. Good to know.
They also have Volcano Bay, which is a water deal.
Yeah,
but
we don't do any of those.
We never done any of that. Didn't do Blizzard Beach. We've never done either of those. Don't think we ever will.
No, probably won't either.
So, but yeah, do that because if you want to ride Hogwarts Express,
that's what my idea is, to ride Hogwarts Express over to the Harry Potter.
You have to have a park-to-park ticket.
Good to know.
Because if you only have a 1-park ticket, they won't even let you on that ride.
Okay.
So,
yeah.
And that is really neat. Universal's killing Disney on the park hopping. Number one, they're right next to each other, so you could walk there very easily. The thing I will say is the line for Hogwarts can get pretty long and make it not as worth it. So I would say do it once from each way because it's a little bit different going each way.
Oh, okay.
But other than that, just walk back and forth between them. But it is, and if you got the Express Pass, it helps because that works for that one as well.
Okay, good.
So that was our favorite ride at either of the Universal one. Spider-Man's up there for me. Incredible Hulk. Oh, that's the other one. Gunnar probably had Incredible Hulk and Rip Ride Rocket above Velocicoaster.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And so at Disney, favorite ride, period, Rise of the Resistance. And we only did it once, and it was the very first Disney ride that we did.
Now, is everybody in your crew Star Wars fans?
Me the most,
okay.
But there are, some others.
Everybody's seen all the movies?
Yes.
Okay.
We have seen all the movies.
I have not. I have not even watched one.
And, it's just really, really neat, and I don't want to say anything else lest I spoil anything, because I don't want to spoil rides if you're not wanting to be spoiled. Now, if you ask Brooklyn, she will be hard-pressed between Tower of Terror and
Oh, she loved it!
Yeah,
good.
She got off it instantly, and she was like, I love Tower of Terror.
When we took Bristol and Paisley, Bristol's last thing before she left any of the parks was to get back on Tower of Terror one last time. So she was, 5 or 6 when we went, and that was her number one. Still talks about it. Still can't wait to ride it.
Now, I will say that this list will probably change again the next time we go because you're going to have some other rides opening up eventually.
So excited for that.
Tron is going on 4.5 years of being built.
Come on already.
So this was taken from the People Mover. They've got the canopy up on one of the sides, but not all of the sides yet. And then the other big ride that you have opening up at Disney World before you get there, it'll be open. So I'm really jealous about that, is the Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind, which will actually be even longer of a track than Hagrid's.
Oh, wow.
But
cool.
it's all indoors.
Yeah, that's an indoor one.
So
That's Epcot or Hollywood Studios?
that is at Epcot, and they've got the ship installed, and it's like really cool. Like,
where is it?
it is the old Horizons building.
Okay.
Over there, kind of on the left-hand side if you come in from Future World area before you hit Mission Space and Test Track and all that stuff. And it's actually on the map now for My Disney Experience. So
we're getting close.
It won't be much longer. I mean, it's so those are 2 more new rides that will be there, hopefully soon. For sure, Guardians will be open before you get there. Tron is a big question mark. Yeah. And I will say this part right here is pretty neat. They have all these LEDs on Spaceship Earth now at night, and they change colors and they move around. You kind of have like
I wonder if that's sticking or if that's just a there's a hidden Mickey, or if it's just a celebration deal. Do you see the hidden Mickey?
Where am I at?
Ears here in the head.
Oh, okay. Unintentional one. This is they actually have this set up as a globe. And so what you're looking at there is that's Florida coming down in the Gulf of Mexico.
Oh, okay, but it's still a Mickey.
Still a Mickey. Still counts. And so you have all sorts of neat things going on right now for the 50th. I hope that they keep that around. Last minute thoughts of some things that really didn't fit in anything else for show notes. 2 new fireworks shows from when we were there before.
Yeah.
You have Enchantment,
which took the place of Happily Ever After in Magic Kingdom.
And then you have Harmonious at Epcot, which took the place of Illuminations.
Which Illuminations wasn't that great.
No, and I don't even remember seeing Illuminations that much. Yeah. So I don't have much to compare it against.
Right.
Here is the issue. I told you about this. I was texting you some things because you really wanted to know about it.
Yep.
On the Enchantment show, it is a projection show, similar to Happily Ever After. But the issue is that on the castle at Magic Kingdom, they have for the 50th added a whole lot of stuff to it. This little blue turret right there above the 50 used to not be there. That is an addition. That's not part of the castle that they just decorated, like how they wrapped around the gold ribbons around it. That was added to it. The 50 was added there. So you had a lot of projections on this show that hit right between those 2 towers.
Right.
Meaning, if you're on the right, this tower right here blocks the view of a lot of the projections, and that's where we was on the right-hand side for the show the first time around.
Okay.
And because of that, we didn't really like it as much because we're having shadows over the projections. The second time
couldn't see what was going on.
Second time, Candace was like, "I'm getting better seats," so she went up like really early to get a spot for us.
Good job, Candace.
And it was better, but the cohesiveness of Happily Ever After is gone. It's not like a story.
That's what they said. It's we're missing the story factor. And that what was so beautiful about Happily Ever After. It told a story, and I mean, it was hard not to cry. I did every time. So
yeah, the only really neat thing about it was we saw Tink fly on both of the nights we were there. And when we were there for Happily Ever After, she didn't fly ever.
I've never seen her.
So that was neat. But that's kind of our thoughts on it, was Happily Ever After was better. I know why they changed it.
Why is that?
Because of all the stuff they added to the castle, those projections would have to all be remapped.
Gotcha.
And if you're going to have to remap all the projections, you may as well change the show.
Gotcha.
And so either they decided, let's just go ahead and change it while we're doing all this other stuff, or they realized it was going to be impossible or way too difficult to do those remappings of it. So they changed it. Now, Harmonious was really neat. And let me just say, I agree 100%. Those barges in the middle of that bay are ridiculous. They look bad. It's an eyesore during the day. But at nighttime, you got the water walls coming down, and they're doing lots of neat stuff with it. And it's more of a fireworks show.
Okay.
Than
so
some of the
you're
other
not
ones.
even really paying attention to it.
So, I mean, it's just really neat, and we were wowed by it. We had a cast member that like was really super nice, and she was able to get us into this area that was otherwise only for like scooters and stuff like that.
Awesome. Yeah.
So we had like a front row seat basically to it.
That's awesome.
And so that helped out a lot. But our opinion initially was Harmonious is better than Enchantment. So,
okay.
But I would still check both of them out.
And Fantasmic is coming back in. Well, we don't really know when it's coming back, but that's a Hollywood studio show.
I think it'll be back in April. Some of the dates for when they're closing down early at studios seem to indicate that it might open up.
Yes.
So,
but we love that show as well too. We checked that one out twice when we were there, and it's if you're going more than 3 days, you can do all 3 shows, one each night. But don't skip them. Don't skip the end of the night shows.
Except for Animal Kingdom.
Yeah, Animal Kingdom doesn't really have anything to offer, but
no, not really.
Mm-mm.
But that I think pretty much sums up a lot of it. In closing, I will say, because of the park reservation system at Disney World and being at limited capacities, crowds didn't feel as bad. At Universal, that was not the case at all, especially going through any of the Wizarding World of Harry Potter areas. I felt very much claustrophobic, and you see me looking down right now. I'm trying to find a picture that kind of shows how this was. Going through there was almost wall-to-wall people, not lines for something, just inside of the park itself. You felt very much crowded, congested, and everything like that. And so that was one thing that Disney did have going for it that was pretty neat.
So we like the park reservation system.
Yeah, I like the lower crowds. I don't like the park reservation system.
Gotcha.
And I cannot seem to find that picture right now. That stinks. Oh, there we go.
Ooh!
This was not even the worst day. This is just when I remembered to take a picture.
Good grief.
Like I said, this is just walking through the land. The ride, this is over at Hogsmeade, which is Islands of Adventure, where you have Hagrid's and Hogwarts, the Forbidden Journey ride inside the castle. And these are nowhere near the lines. This is just people walking through or getting butterbeer. And like I said, this was not the worst that I saw while we were there.
That is...
So be prepared for that if you go to Universal.
But if you have Express Pass, then that is almost irrelevant.
Almost.
Almost.
And also, some of it's because the author of Harry Potter, J.K. Rowling or Rowling, I can't remember which one it is, wanted it to be so authentic that she made them build everything cramped. All the stores are very cramped and very low capacities on purpose to make it just like the movies, which I like authenticity.
It's pretty cool.
But I don't like it to where it makes you miserable during the day. So that's kind of, that pretty much wraps it up for all of my thoughts on it. We're going to get back to in a couple of weeks. I'm going to put, like I said, we have several videos from this that are out, so make sure and check all of those out, like and subscribe. And also, in the next couple of weeks, we'll have some more videos that are just basic Disney stuff.
Go back to just our tips, tricks, and whatnot.
Tricks, and
advice.
I'm also thinking, let's review some Disney Plus shows and movies.
Ooh, I like that.
Moon Knight comes out tomorrow.
How about you start by watching Brave?
Yeah.
And then come back before we do that.
I'll get there. But we're going to try to expand this out, continue doing tips and tricks, talking about the news of Disney World, maybe even some Disneyland, even though I've never been to Disneyland.
One time.
So, but we'll try and expand it out with maybe some just Disney content in general.
I'd like to do a whole show on food, so
yes,
I'd like to bring that up.
I will have
next.
I think I might sit that one out and have Candace co-host with you on that one.
That'd be awesome.
Because I'm more like, just give me chicken strips, I'm okay.
Oh no!
Me and Gunnar.
No, there's so much more to chicken strips. That was my husband's biggest really, we're going to Disney. That food is your average amusement park food. It's not at all that. And he'll come back and tell you that was some of the best food he's probably had ever.
I know we are already signing off, but I do have one last thing that I just remembered about.
Throw it in there.
Universal has a deal where if you buy a $300 gift card, you get a wand for free. Not one of the interactive ones, but it's still a really cool prop wand.
Oh, cool.
Looks really nice, $50 value. And so having gone to Disney World all the time, you use your gift cards everywhere for food and everything. So we're like, we've got 3 days at Universal. We'll spend $300 between food and souvenirs. So we got it, and then we found out, no, you can't use the gift cards for food at Universal. Only for merchandise. So at the end of our trip, we had only spent like $100 off of it. So we ended up returning the wand so that we could get the remaining money back.
Aww.
And then we went back to Ollivander's booth at the Islands of Adventure and let Gunnar pick out a wand.
Oh, cool.
So
good.
He still had a wand, and we still had more money back to us than we would have. But just
so you could have you did get to refund your gift card. That's good.
Amount,
yeah, that's good.
So just remember that you don't get to use those gift cards on food. So if you're used to Disney where you pay for everything with a gift card,
great tip.
It is not that way at Universal.
Okay.
So, all right. Well, that is all we have for now, and we will see you all later.
Yeah, bye.